Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo and we're here at the South Park Center. I'm with Astrid and Sandra with their movie We Vanish. Let's take a look at the clip.
Me cierran las piernas. Pareces mujer de la calle.
De la calle. Como si hace un mes que me tienen aquí encerrada.
Por algo será, ¿no?
Mía, cierra las piernas, por favor.
Hay que ir por hilo del van. Ya se nos acabó.
Thank you both for being here. Congratulations on your film and thank you for coming all the way from Mexico to be here. So thank you very, very much.
No, thank you for the interview and the opportunity.
Oh, well, we can't do it without your greatness, so we're happy that you're here. Your movie is amazingly powerful and it's just incredible. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis of your film.
Well, the film is the journey of a mother who is trying to get justice for the murder, for the feminicide of her daughter, and how corruption and misogyny in Mexico doesn't allow her to get justice and puts her life in danger.
It's a hard watch, isn't it? You know, but there's a lot of truth to what is happening in certain parts of the world. Where did the inspiration come from in creating this particular project?
It comes from, I moved to Australia to do a master's in directing, and there we had a lot of workshops in which they forced us a little bit to revisit our lives and make fictions of them. It's a way to find your voice, your creative voice. And in the workshop, I wrote a story and kind of like a letter to someone you couldn't talk anymore and make it like a story of fiction. And it was to a friend, and through that I realized that she was a victim of feminicide and when I was 16, and I had no idea until that moment. It clicked, and it had to do with the reaction of everyone and what they told me, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This happened to my friend.
Wow, and did you kind of come together so how do you get involved together, this dream team here?
Well, I known her for a long time. I used to make commercials with her. And when she told me she was coming to Mexico again to do her thesis, and she told me what the thesis was about, it's a matter that I really feel like people need to hear about it because it's really powerful. And I had just done a really short film about the same topic, and so I was like, "Hey, dude, I just want to help you because I think this has to be known everywhere so we can stop it somehow."
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I actually don't think there's enough coverage on it. I don't think there's enough films being made about it. There really isn't, and particularly, you know, taking a story and making it a fictional story, but an actual reality that's going on. I mean, obviously, you had to really pick a really good cast for this as well to kind of really understand the nature of this and its depth. How was the casting process for you both?
It was actually thanks to my friend Rodrigo Tapia, who I've worked with before in commercials. And he also, everybody involved in the project really wanted to tell the story, and they really wanted to do something. Like, they all had a personal story that connect them to the violence that is happening in Mexico and to gender violence. So Rodrigo was really generous to walk in, and also Sandra has a lot of she knows a lot of actors because of the nature of what she does. She's a DOP, and she has had a chance to work with a lot of actors in Mexico, so she helped us connect with people, and that was the process. It was 3 days of casting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 3 days of casting and then 3 days of callbacks.
3 days of casting, 3 days of callbacks, and then because I only had like a month for pre-production, so it was all very fast.
I think we don't really talk about the casting process as much as we probably should, but you know, when you've had that many days and you've seen person after person, like how do you, and particularly you know, people have got to portray these characters as well with some essence of sensitivity and realness to it. How do you know that's the one?
I think it's kind of funny because I mean I was in the room and I was helping with the dialogue. I'm a really crappy with dialogue, so I was really
she was reading.
I was trying to help, but when Patricia came and do the reading, like everybody that was in the room,
just
we
felt
all
it.
felt silent. I mean, I just got bumps.
Yeah.
Goosebumps. Yeah.
You know, because it was so powerful that we kind of all knew at that moment.
Yes.
It was like, okay, wow.
I mean, we also cast another actress that was also really good, and I think between both of them, they both had different approaches to the character of Rocio, which is the mother. They did it in their own way, and so the callback was with them and with other two girls that were also a little bit the ones that we were like, okay, these are two options, but they were both very different dynamics and very different ideas of how to play with the characters, because I really like to let my actors be part of the creating of the character and bring something on the table for it. And in the end, for me, it was really clear that I had two great options, and I had to decide where I wanted to take the film. And I think because of that reaction that I felt with Patricia of how she portrayed the mother, I was like, I want to go through that direction.
I mean, I don't think there's anything worse than losing your child. I don't think there's the comparison. There's nothing worse than that. And her going through that and trying to navigate. I mean, she went through quite a lot of emotion, obviously, during that. How is your process to kind of as a director? Do you coach your actors to do that, or do you kind of let them just have a freedom of play? How do you kind of do that?
I had a lot of research. Yeah. So first it was sitting down and make them understand what is going on, what is the reality of the mothers, because like you were saying, there's not enough coverage. There is, but it's framed as a spectacle, like a morbid thing. Oh, another girl was found in the street, mutilated. Oh, gruesome. It's not actually told the way it should be told. Right. There is actually a news, a journalist in Mexico that is trying to bring the mothers out of that, you know, like the morbid side of the way it's being told, the stories, and talking more about the mothers and the daughters as human beings. So I guess I also did a lot of research, and I realized this, and I wanted to bring them out of that and make people empathize and look at the victims as human beings, as the mother as human beings, and the hell they go to. Yeah. So I had to go first through that process of explaining to them the situation, what was happening in Mexico, then giving them all the information about the 3 cases that I put together and what the process were for the mothers, showing them videos of them and telling them what they were doing right now. Then from the research, it was more like working on the scenes and what the objective for me was to the scene. Yeah. And it was all about how it felt. Like I always ask them, does this feel good for you? Does this feel natural to you? And if they're not feeling it, you can see it in the camera. Yeah, that's right. You can. I was also amazed. I was like, there's a lot of interior and exterior going on as well, and I thought, wow, that you got a lot of different locations. Which leads me to say, maybe it's the question for you, Sandra. What was kind of the biggest challenge you had on this project?
Well, we had several challenges. The first one was the earthquake. So it was we
filmed during the earthquake.
We were actually doing a scouting location.
We had a location scout scheduled that day.
So
that is not a geez.
Yeah, it was really difficult because at the same time my apartment got damaged, so I had to move out in an emergency state. So it was really chaotic. So that was the first kind of big challenge on trying to get the locations.
Because we lost some of the locations. Also, the city was shut down for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
there was no permits being issued.
Yeah, so we decided to film most of it around the state of Mexico and the border, just because of the permits as well.
Wow.
Because we couldn't get them, and some of the places weren't that. Were a little bit dangerous, so we had to have security all the time with us, because we had the cameras, we had the cast, we have a lot of women working with us.
The shot of the van
The river.
in the river, that's like kind of the border between Mexico City and the state of Mexico, and that river is where they actually dumped the women. And we had 3 police officers that were looking after us.
I see.
Quotation
how that was
marks.
gonna work.
Looking after us, and behind that there's like this neighborhood that it's really, really dangerous. So the later it gets, it was
we had to go we had like an hour where we had to say, okay,
we
cannot shoot after this.
We could
have
only
to
shoot
go.
1 hour, because after that it gets dark
and it's not good to be
it's
there.
not good. But the police officers came to us, and we were kind of putting together the body that we throw into the river. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen a lot of women here, like being dragged out of the water. It needs to be a lot more like chubby." And he was like describing to us how it should look. And we're like, "Oh, okay, crazy. Thank you very much for your assistance." Yeah,
my goodness. I mean, see, when you asked that question, was there any challenges? Geez, you went through them and still made them. This is what the beauty of filmmaking is, and I'm so glad that you all are safe. And I'm sorry about your apartment, because these are real things that are happening. The way you displayed this story was showcasing it in a way that showed the reality of it and the emotions, and that there are people behind these statistics that we see and what we see in the news, and how they are portrayed is not the right way. There's no humanizing around it, and you guys did that for us.
Actually, there's a really beautiful part where she decided to put it into the film, where you can hear the radio talking about the earthquake, and every time that scene comes, I've seen the movie, I don't know how many, 100 times. And every time that scene comes up, I always start crying.
Oh, of course.
Because it's so powerful.
I know, everybody was crying. Yeah, I felt it.
Yeah, because that was the strongest earthquake since '85. That's the one that destroyed the city.
Yeah.
This was the 32 years later, exactly. The same day it hit. So 2 weeks after, people still had PTSD from it.
Of course.
But they were like, "We need to shoot. You need to shoot the film, because we need to move on. We need to do something." So I actually thought we were not gonna do the film anymore. I was like, "Fuck, that's it. It died."
I mean,
she was helping me packing. Like, we brought boxes,
we had to get her out of her apartment.
I need to bring everything out with
very
my parents.
Surreal.
It was just crazy.
So all we can say is how deserving you both have this opportunity to put the film out to all these amazing places. But what was your film after going through all of that together to then have your film with us at NewFilmmakers LA at the home of the Academy Awards? That must have been some resolution to all the madness you've had to deal with, right?
It's been a really long journey to getting here. I didn't expect that actually the film would do as well as it has, and it has been a bit of a bittersweet kind of feeling for me, especially because the mothers are still going through hell, and I'm here getting like recognition for it. So there's a part of me that it's happy that the film is doing well and that I'm reaching audiences, but at the same time I have this heavy heart that it's getting worse. When I made the film, it was 7 women that died a day. Today is 10. So we haven't gotten any better. So that really weighs on me.
Yes, it's tough, but at the same time, I think we have done a lot of screenings, and it has been beautiful, the fact that people approach to us and ask about how to get help. So Patricia and Astrid ended up doing this big campaign, like putting some information, because we live in such a violent society, and cultured society, that we don't really understand and we don't really see the violence we live in.
It's been normalized. So
Exactly. So
I-
that has
Yes.
helped people to say, okay, I need to do this and do that.
So
and
after
go help.
every time we screen the film, someone comes to us asking, "How can we help?" or "Can you help me?"
Wow.
So Patricia and I got together with a group of lawyers and put like a brochure information, and we started talking today, for example, to make an actual website where we give the information there, and we can contact people with lawyers with, because
Because we don't know anything. Like even
I did a lot of research to make the story happen and to write the story, but at the same time I feel like I am not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a lawyer.
But
So
but through your creative talents have
Yeah.
put this on the map, and in as far as I'm concerned, in a very powerful way, because you're either helping others. I mean, the fact it should be sitting with you just how effective your film is when people are coming to you because you've either affected them or maybe they're going through something like that. And I think that is full credit to you both for doing that, because that's what we need to have for all these things that people are fighting for. And I still feel like what your film is great is there isn't enough right attention around it either. What is next for you both?
well, I am writing a feature.
A feature length of this film?
It's sort of around the subject.
Yeah.
But it's a very different story.
Uh-huh.
It's more based on, well, it's a coming of age story of an intersex teenage growing up in Mexico. So it is still related to what is happening, but I'm more interested now in telling a more hopeful story.
Yeah.
And talking about love
Yeah.
and hope.
Yeah.
And that we can do better and that we
Yes.
can change. In Mexico, trans people and have and intersex people have a life expectancy of 33 years. So we still, and for example, trans women in Mexico are victims of feminicide even more, and that is like a statistic that doesn't even exist because the Mexican government doesn't actually recognize them as women. They still go into file as men. So
You're just saving the world for us, aren't you? Basically, what's going on?
well, but it is important to talk about it as well. So the feature is related to all of this, but it's a different story, and also I need to talk about hope because I cannot keep being angry.
No, and this is a way of also exercising that in a way that we all get to see it and we all get to join your bandwagon and support as well. So how about for you, Sandra? What's next for you?
Well, I'm going to be working on her film. if
The
everything
dream
goes
team,
well.
stay together. Yeah.
But this time I'm going to be, if everything goes well, I'm going to be the DP. Because
Excellent.
actually that's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yes.
cinematographer.
Fantastic.
And I'm shooting another feature film with another director about the relationship with a mother and her son that has cerebral paralysis.
Yeah.
And the relationship they have, and the mother gets diagnosed with terminal cancer, and what she has to do in order to keep her child safe, and that's quite interesting.
Like
too.
what
Wow.
happens if she's not there to take care of
Yeah.
him?
Both of you, I tell you, got amazing projects. I'm just so glad you brought this one to us and brought more attention and more awareness, and it should keep going around to all the film festivals around the world to see it, because it's very, very important, and just love what you bring to us. So thank you very much for coming here, being here, your talents, and please just keep bringing more movies back to us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Astrid and Sandra, everybody.